Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Curse 20. My name is Cody. This is my friend David and my friend Zach. Warning, this video will contain spoilers for the D&D 5e module of Curse of Strahd. So, as of now, scroll off if you plan on playing it or are currently playing it. Because, again, very much spoilers for the entirety of the book. The premise of this video will be a slight campaign recap, as well as I'm going to allow my players a peek behind the DM screen, and they can ask me about anything they want about the campaign, storylines they felt never got resolved, uh, things that I either added or removed. That's a better word than taken out of the book. Characters I introduced, things that I changed, anything that they want to ask me about our campaign that just ended on our channel called The Cursed One's Actual Play. You can go watch the last episode as of last Thursday. So again, spoilers for the campaign and spoilers for the D&D module. Let's begin. Who has the first question?
Well, I think you were wanting to run us through some of your things first, from what I remember. You were telling us
maybe a little recap from.
All right, let's do a little recap, and then I'll tell you some things. So our last campaign recap happened at Prison Break, and I can't even remember what episode that was. But
He has a dad now.
It was you guys escaping Castle Ravenloft with your mother and Emil. So from then, so much happened. Like I feel like most of the campaign happened from then.
Yeah.
So
it really does feel that way.
You guys, what I don't even know if I'm gonna remember like the actual steps.
We went to Vallaki.
Well, yeah, I mean, going in order is gonna be tough, but I know for sure we
made it to back to Vallaki because you went to Vallaki first.
Yep.
And then you realized that there was like a conscious. Oh yeah, because the next one was Enemy of the States. So you went to Vallaki, realized that Ismark and the leader of Vallaki were like, okay, we're creating an organized resistance. We want to get Krezk on our side. Kaelin showed up and announced to the entire town, whoever kills these dudes, Strahd will make a lord.
Yep.
And give you like thousands of gold, right?
And then we found out Barovia had burned down.
Yeah, and then eventually you found out Barovia has been burned down. You made it to Krezk. You met the abbot who you found out
before Krezk. We went to Argynvost.
Oh my goodness, you guys went to Argynvost.
The dragon.
You met the dragon.
The Revenant army. That was crazy. Vladimir. Okay. Tell me this. This is one of my questions. Was Vladimir supposed to be a fight? Did you think it would be a fight? Were you never gonna let it be a fight?
No. So Vladimir is always the potential for a fight, and I thought because of your guys' playstyle, it was definitely going to be a fight.
I thought so.
I thought it was going to be a fight too.
There's.
I remember we took the break, and then when we came back, I was like, "This is definitely okay. We're fighting."
Yeah. He's a beast. I would have loved to have played him in a fight. And if he goes into a fight, every Revenant joins him.
That's awesome.
Right? So you guys would have been fighting the King Revenant, and Revenants are like resistance to all like these kind of damages, right? They can't truly die. So they would just, even if you won the fight, now there's an army of Revenants who are like, we are going to hunt you down for the entirety of. You can kill us once. Can you kill us 10 times?
Yeah.
Can you kill us 20? Because we will just keep cutting, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work out. And then like the yeah. So I was like, it's everything in the book is a potential for a fight. And with how you guys were playing this campaign, I was like, this is going to be a fight. I was really surprised.
I had to be licked that day, so I missed the potential of what happened on if we're fighting or not.
Yeah.
I just came back and we're like, you're not dead. We didn't fight.
Yeah, I can't remember how it happened. I'd have to go back and rewatch the video, but somebody sweet talk.
Godfrey
showed up at some point and was like, let's just stop this.
We were able to use that as our mechanism to convince him. But even then, it was very, very tedious.
Yeah.
Very hard to do.
Yeah. And then after Argynvost, you guys went to Krezk. You met Dimitri. You met Doug, Doromir's male lover. You met the abbot, who you found out was an angel.
Yeah, that happened fast. Fast
lovers, yeah. That threw me for guard. I was just kind of throwing for it. Yeah, and then Irina was like, by the way, I'm gonna join that spirit in the lake, and disappeared.
That was insane. Okay.
And then Strahd was like, fuck you. Boom.
So, in a little bit, Zach again wasn't here for that episode, but you had talked to him about that previous?
Yes, because I had known that Zach's character had an affection to Irina. I didn't know what type of infection, how deep the infection went. So I knew that no matter what, Irina was doing this. So I wanted to know what. I talked to Zach. I was like, Zach had given us a heads up that he wasn't going to make it to the session. So I pulled him. I got a hold of him outside of us playing. And was just like, hey, how is Calathar going to react to this situation? I kind of laid you out in the basic way I could, and then so he gave me his basic responses. So I did my best.
Yeah.
And I hope when you rewatch the episode that you felt that I played Calathar as true as I could. But I did my best based off of what he told me to have Calathar react in that moment.
Okay. So
and that was such a great moment too, for me personally, because I had that whole story scene planned out since like episode 3 in the campaign, and we're on episode like 40 at that point.
Yeah. It was a long payoff for sure.
So was that something that was always supposed? Is that her only positive ending? Because I'm guessing that there are negative endings.
Well, yeah, there's yes. No, but I think it's the most inevitable one.
Okay.
Only because her soul is so drawn to the soul of Sergei, eventually she would have found herself there.
Okay.
I think, right? I think the book, I can actually tell you real quick. So, like, the book gives you a couple of different, like, quote-unquote endings based off of just, like, general, like, this is, like, a general way the story can end, and then there's another, I can't find the freaking ending spot. Where the frick did it go? But just, like, general ways, like, this can happen, this, like, in some type of way, this is going to happen, or this is going to happen, and here's what happens to these major characters based off of those things. One of those things, if I can find it, I should have had this marked. I
just see two of the headlines there.
Yep.
Strahd prevails, Strahd dies.
Right. So, one of the endings is the souls reunite no matter what. So if you never take her to the lake,
that was something I was curious of, yeah.
The soul of Sergei gets free and finds her at the castle. Mm-hmm. And then they do that whole
like as a spirit, like as a specter.
Yeah, basically he realizes like, so that ending is assuming that you guys won and beat Strahd. So then his power over the realm is broken and Sergei's spirit feels safe to come out, finds Irina, and then they join up, and that whole thing happens in the castle, basically.
Okay.
So that is like her most inevitable good ending.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if we lose,
none of it
we
matters.
never find out.
Yeah. She is slave to Strahd forever.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Another one of his wives.
Yeah. So then, after Krezk, you guys went to the Amber Temple.
We fucking died.
You guys got TPK'd, and then you guys also met...
Okay. How did it feel to have your first TPK? Because, like, oh, he didn't kill us. He fucking killed us. You killed us. That was TPK.
Yeah, I TPK'd you and then had to spend the whole rest of the week figuring out, how do I fix this?
Yeah.
Right?
You looked at the clock as the TPK was, like, a one round from over, and you're like, we're going to finish the session here. So I need to figure out how to not let this happen.
It felt really weird, but I'd already had 2 player characters' death. One personally from me, and one from me just like adjudicating a player versus player fight, right? So I'd already had 2 players die. But it was weird. I was like, but okay, so here's where I messed up on that. I didn't think that was going to be a fight. because I thought that maybe the curiosity of why Caleb was in the temple would get you guys to ask questions. And the Doorman went, "I'm gonna fuck
we
that
see
dude
Caleb,
up."
it's
on.
Yeah, and I was like, I fucked this up, and I was like, okay, and then I was like, all right, well, Caleb also has this guy and this guy here. And then it was like some bad rolls on your guys' part, some good rolls on my guys' part, and then the positioning that I had, like where the mage was at.
And the bringing him back, dude, that was the backbreaker. That was when it was like, oh,
Okay,
all hope
can I
is
tell you guys
lost.
something? That's an all me thing. That's not a thing in the book.
He wanted to kill us.
Yeah,
No, but I had that.
He didn't have to do it.
I'd already given Rock.
That's what he just told us. Was he didn't have to do it.
Oh yeah, and just giving him Rahadin's head. That
Damn.
So
that was the big crux of like, oh, every round you're all gonna take 30 to 40
psychic
points of
damage.
psychic damage.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Just
anybody
off the
who
bat.
says that you took it easy on us, yeah, maybe not.
So there's definitely some spots where I like pulled some punches, and there's definitely some other spots where I was like, in that particular moment, I was like, you know what? I wanted to get them some cool expo. They want to fight. Let's fucking fight. Let's fucking do this. Because okay, so it's not like I added that ability in the moment.
Yeah.
I had like redesigned Caleb's stat block.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is powers I'm giving him,
Yeah.
right? Like these are because I also thought that I was like, Caleb is gonna be like the second BBEG, like right? Like,
If we got rid of Rahadin, there needed to be somebody that filled that spot.
right. And I was like, and there needs to be a way to make, because Strahd himself is not a particularly. Strahd's strength doesn't come from his prowess in battle.
Yeah, 100%.
His strength comes from manipulation, his charm effect, his amount of allies he can call upon.
Have you seen the video recently where XP to level 3 does like a CR15 versus CR15? It's him versus like Jarl Axel from Waterdeep or whatever. And he fucking smokes Strahd.
Yeah.
It's not even close,
Right.
dude. Like, it's so unfair.
And
Strahd is not that strong of a...
No, his whole
Yeah,
thing
that's-
is
yeah.
by the whole thing about Strahd is by the time you get to me, I'll be able to kill you.
Because, like you had told us, his whole castle was supposed to be full of fucking enemies.
No, yeah, every time you turn around in the castle. Anyway, before we get to that, let's finish up the recap. So you get through the temple, you come out of the temple, and then this is the spot that threw me for a fucking loop. Dormir finds out he's being scried on and goes, "Fuck you, show up." And I'm like, yeah, Strahd's gonna show up. And Strahd's not dumb, so he's gonna show up with Caleb. Right? Like, he's not just gonna show up
Yeah.
by himself.
Yeah.
He knows all the weapons and like magic items you guys have. So Strahd shows up with Caleb. And Dormir dies. And honestly, I was gonna TPK you guys again in that fight. And because
I could feel it.
there is
I
no
felt confident in that one.
realistic reason why Strahd didn't that whole dice thing was me being nice.
Yep.
Strahd should have just called the fog, power word killed lightning, and then dealt with the rest of you, right? Like those, like he should have just bam, 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 and then just fucking walked up and
Yep.
get the last one of you guys,
100%,
right?
dude.
And then you guys got in the carriage and drove past him, and I was like, why wouldn't he just follow or call more monsters to help him? And I'm like, because then there wouldn't be the rest of the game, Cody.
Yep.
So then I was like, fuck it, you guys can go. I think Strahd would just take this moment to laugh at you guys being scared. And you know what I'm saying? Like this, I'm just gonna take this moment to like make Strahd like a
Look at me,
look at-
another victory.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like his
Yeah.
his hubris got the best of him again. Because like
Yeah.
realistically he should have been like, no.
Not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, but I was like, nah, he'll revel in the fact that you guys are running away. You guys get to the Brez, you fight the Baba Lyzaga and Morgantha the Hag, and
Oh, is that what that
Calathar
was?
2 shots, fucking 2 turns the Hag, which did also ruin my fight. And then the house thing, I thought the house was gonna have a couple more turns, and the fucking creeping hut was super strong. So I thought that creeping hut was gonna get a couple more turns in the fight. But then you guys two of you got inside of it right away, basically at the beginning of the fight, and I was like, well, how would it?
I mean, you did. You were very gracious of not starting the battle right away.
I wanted to because I was like, it would start, and then Dorman was like, I'm just trying to talk, and I'm like, I think it would start. Okay, I'll give you a little bit more.
And so I'm like, I'm gonna take that opportunity. I'm gonna close distance a little bit here.
So then after you guys dealt with her, You met Muriel from the Were Ravens. You gave her the gem that's going to bring her house back together. She flies away with that. You guys make it back to Vallaki. You see the troops from Krezk show up. You see that it's even more built up and ready to go for war. You hear from Dag that Barovia burned down. You hear that Winter Splinter was just destroyed their home and was on the way to Krezk. You guys get to Vallaki. You do some you look through the reinforcements basically. Dormir goes off with Doug. You guys go to the dark elf or the dusk elf slash Visanti camp. You see your mom chained up. You
Buy
see
some potions.
you buy some potions. You make Lady Watcher pay for it. You befriend the dusk elves. You leave. You find the mad mage. You convince him to man the fuck up, and he goes, I'll take care of Krezk, and he takes off. And then the house explodes and the devil rises from the fucking sky, or rises to the sky. Well, no. Yes. And then so you run up in there. And no. Before this happens, you guys go to the Burgeon Master's house to find the creepy kid because that's where you sent Desmeralda. And as you're talking to the creepy kid, that's when Lady Watcher's house blows up and you see the devil rise from the sky. Calathar does this cool shit with the portal. And you guys, Dormir had also been doing some stuff with his goddess and was able to bring her like a partial physical form in, the Raven Queen, and then you were able to bring a partial physical form of Soul or the Morning Lord in, and they together in their weakened state were able to fend off Azrael and like shift him somewhere else and put a dome of protection around Vallaki. From there, you headed up to Castle Ravenloft where you split the party on me again, and you and Esmeralda went to the crypt to set up your hollow spell. And you two were like, okay, well, we're Team Distraction. We're going to go. We know that Strahd's in his throne room. We're going to go fuck with him, right?
Team Distraction, Team Extraction.
Works every time.
You guys in the throne room met Lavender Boy, dealt with him and the mage. You guys were holding your own against Strahd for some part. You guys met the Spirit of Archivos, got transported back to the throne room, and together you guys finally defeated Strahd, and that's basically the end of the campaign. Okay, let's get to question time.
Yeah, you went super fast there.
Okay.
So many questions.
Okay.
What is the actual passage say regarding the fog potion?
What does the book say about the fog potions?
Yeah, can you read it for me? Is that something you're able to
I
find?
can't find it real quick, but I can tell you what it says because I looked at it a lot. There is no fog potions. There's a rumor going around that the Visanti have a potion that allows them to travel through the fog. That is the rumor. So I took that and said, well, let's put something in there that they quote unquote are selling to Barovians, right? Like that's how the rumor gets, right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, so like there's the book says there's a room that's a rumor about how the
But
Visanti.
they don't. There's no stats for any fucking potion. There's nothing.
Nope. So I went, well, if there's a rumor, there has to be something to like substantiate the rumor, and it, giving them some quote unquote fog potions. There's no fog potion.
I had a great time with the fog potion.
I made that shit up.
I passed my check, but I was very upset about it.
I'm like, this, I have to fuck with you guys a little bit, right?
100%.
And nobody rolled an insight when they bought the potions. Nobody rolled an arcana. Nobody rolled anything on it. And I was really expecting you guys to because I fucked with Dormir and gave him a health potion from the hags that was a potion of acid.
That was from the hags.
Yeah, I just thought that maybe I'd fuck with you guys enough at this point. You'd be checking everything. And you guys did not. But, it only affected one of you. It only really affected an NPC.
Yeah.
So it didn't even come into that effect. I thought it was a pretty cool idea, though. You pass, it does nothing. You fail, and all of a sudden you're rolling with disadvantage.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
All right. This goes all the way back to the start of the game.
Oh, no.
What's up with the cult in the Durst house?
Nothing. So, absolutely nothing. To be completely honest with you guys, the Durst house, the Death House, as it is an Appendix D. It is an optional start to the game. You can either start the game at level 3, or you can start the game at level 1 and play through the Death House. That's it. those. It's an optional start to the game. And I went, that sounds fun, right?
Yeah.
So I played you through, and there was some old cult that worshipped Strahd that was centered in this house. And
Did they just worship him because he's the god of the land?
They basically considered him a god,
Yeah.
right? So they were worshiping him and sacrificing people to his name, and then they died.
And was it doing anything for Strahd? It wasn't.
No, that's what that letter is for. Basically, Strahd goes, "Stop doing shit. I don't care about you.
Yeah.
Like none of this matters to me. You're maggots at my feet. I don't keep. Why don't you could do this? You cannot do this. I don't care."
And then, follow up with the Dursts.
Okay.
Is there anything particular or special about the Durst windmill that we sold?
Nope. And there's not even a location in the book for the game. So I had just made the windmill, the Hag's windmill. It's like we would have explored that more if you didn't sell it to Islark and like 2 episodes later.
Yeah.
It would have been the Hag's windmill. And that would have been like a whole thing about you guys. This is our windmill. Now we have to clear out the Hags, right? Like that's how I would have.
Because that was one of the things when we were doing the Hag windmill. I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about the Durst windmill.
Yeah, so like
what's going on there?
You guys got this deed to this
I kind
windmill.
of thought in that moment, like, oh, this is the windmill that we had the deed to, but I didn't know.
They're described differently in the book, and it's not that it can't be. I just was like, yeah, that's the most.
Barovia's a windy place or
Right.
something.
Right, yeah. So like it. I think the way that the book describes it allows it to be like a different location you could go to, and you can add to the book somewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just gonna be that windmill, and then that's how I'm gonna get them to deal with the Hags. They're gonna go to their new house they bought, and I was like, that's where they're gonna make their base of operations and all this type of stuff. And then you guys like, hey, you can have this, and you sold it. And I was like,
20 gold.
it was the ring thing all over again. I was like, cool.
And I was you with the ring. I was
And I
like,
was
no,
like,
don't sell them.
Yeah, I was like, all right, well that storyline's gone. I guess like just go ahead and check that one off.
Yep.
All right, do you have another question?
Yeah. So, how did you feel to kill me the first time?
That sucked because I did not want to. But I so in that fight, I had already, you know how I said like sometimes I pulled punches. There was supposed to be like 5 or 6 of those things.
That's insane.
And I was like, they're level 2.
We didn't have any magic items.
I was like
no silver weapons.
Yeah, I was like,
let's
I was like, let's put, and shadows aren't that strong.
They're CR halves.
But I was like, you know what? 1 per each. That should be fine. And then you guys got bottleneck. And then I was like, oh fuck, this is not going good. And then I was like,
and then my strength just started so low, and
Yeah.
you rolled so good on the strength.
well, yeah. And there was one time. Oh, I don't know if I should tell you that. I won't tell you that.
Tell me. Tell us. Now's the time.
It was D4s, right?
Yeah.
There was one time I rolled a 4 and rolled it again. I was like, I'm not. That's gonna. I was like, he's gonna be dead. I was like looking at your strength, and I was like, this. Let's give him one more round to figure something out. And then you died the next round anyway. And I was like, I tried. The guys gods are mad at me for fudging the dice roll.
Dude, it was so funny because I remember telling like, hey, if you need to kill anybody, I'm the more experienced player at the table. I don't
He
mind
died
losing
2 sessions in.
Don't mind losing a character. Totally thought it'd be
And
10,
then he thought he was
15
going to die
sessions in.
on the 3rd session.
Yeah, as soon as I came back.
I do want you guys to know I did my absolute best not to dodge dice rolls. I would say 95 to 97% of what happened was accurate to the dice rolls. And that one particular was like, it's the 2nd session. He's gonna die. I rolled a 4. I rolled a 4 on the D4. He's gonna die.
You went for Caleb first, wasn't hitting. You went for me, hit me, fucked me up real bad a couple times. Then
Went back to Caleb.
Went back to Caleb. Missed for like 5 turns in a row.
Came back and then hit you, and I was like, dude, I'm so
First
sorry.
fucking turn back
I'm
to me.
so sorry.
You're like, well, at some point he would stop trying to hit the guy that he can't hit, and he would go back to the guy he did hit, which, yeah, he fucking would.
I felt so bad.
And he did.
Okay, who's got more questions?
This is a pretty simple one. Was the Morning Lord the god in this world before Barovia went to the Underdark? Or the Shadowfell?
Shadowfell. The book, yes. So the Morning Lord and the Night Queen, Night Mother, or there's churches to them all throughout the realm, and those are the people that those were the gods that the people of Barovia worshipped before it was
when it was in favor.
when it was in favor, before it was taken and put in. And so the remnants of the churches are still there, but there's obviously not supposed to be any like actual like interaction with those gods.
Yeah. So, is there anything written in the book about the gods, and like, is there a difference? How big of a difference would the story be if I was a Morning Lord cleric instead of like a light cleric instead of cleric?
Probably pretty different, because nowhere in the book does it say that the Night Mother is the Raven Queen. And nowhere in the book does it say that the Morning Lord is Sol, right? So those were
Okay.
things that I built as we went. I was like, well, the Raven Queen is so Barovia in 5th edition in this book isn't technically part of the Shadowfell. It's like a 4th edition thing. So then I was like, well, it's like
It's its own pocket dimension.
yeah, it's its own
literally.
pocket dimension that just like mirrors some of the effects of the Shadowfell, I guess you would say.
Okay.
But like 3rd, 4th edition, it is actually in the Shadowfell, right? And I was like, I like that better. I listened to this other channel. I'm gonna shout him out, and hopefully he sees this and follows me back. Called Riches and Liches, and he does like full lore breakdowns of like people, places, and everything. His channel is awesome. Please go check him out. But he was, while I was starting this book, he had dropped a Shadowfell series, and in that was the Raven Queen and the Shatter Kai, and I was like, oh yeah. And he actually dropped a Domains of Dread series too, and had talked about Curse of Strahd and about how in like the 4th edition it was 3 times as big. Like there was way more people, like all this other changes, and then in 5th edition it gets shrunk down and like the theme that they go for in the 5th edition is claustrophobic.
Yeah.
While in 4th edition it's still it's a lot bigger. There's more towns, there's more interaction with other things. So then after, honestly, hearing those videos changed the course of your guys' campaign. That's when I started allowing you guys more interaction with your gods and stuff like that. Because I was like, I actually like some of the older stuff about this area, and I'm gonna start trying to like mix and match between the two
Okay.
editions. So if I was to play Curse of Strahd strictly as the 5e version of Curse of Strahd, it would feel like a completely different game because I mix and matched older versions into it. So to answer your question that you asked way long ago, it doesn't say too much about, other than like it describes the Morning Lord a little bit, like the statues and stuff like that. It describes the churches, and then it describes the Night Mother. But the Night Mother is supposed to be 100% evil, like the Hag, not the Hags, no, the Hags, and Baba Lysaga worship her. Baba Lysaga takes blood baths, and the Night Mother gives her like actual like immortality from it, basically, like
Okay.
keeps her young and alive and stuff like that. So she's a completely evil goddess. And then I was like, what if she was just an alternate version of the Raven Queen, though, and like distorted, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. I like
A
that.
bit of a leech.
On a similar note, was Xantris always... It feels like Xantris was the true curse of Strahd that you kind of written. At least that was kind of the feeling I got.
Yeah.
Like, he was the one that enticed Strahd to give him the power that he got,
And like
then
that,
turned
the
world
collection
into
of
what it
those 3 were like the old gods that.
was. Yeah.
So they're in. So okay,
Is that
we're gonna get. Let's get into that a little bit. So the book describes the dark powers and their vestiges, right? They leave it vague. Everything's super vague so that the DM has room to build what they
Right.
want into it. So there's some dark powers that Strahd made a deal with, right? In the Amber Temple, there are 3 rooms, just like that room. There are 9 dark power vestiges you can interact with. 9 different boons you could get.
Oh shit.
And we found
You
3
happen
of
to
them.
find that room. And in that room were those 3. And I knew at that point, a little behind the scenes, by the time you guys see this, I have just had a baby. So I knew that I had to end the campaign by a certain date. So I hope you guys don't feel like I cheapened the story on you, but I said, you know what?
Oh.
The Amber Temple could have easily been 3 or 4 sessions. And I went, we don't have time for 3 or 4 sessions. What can I give? How can I streamline this to give them what they need from it and then get them out of it, right? So you guys went there. So I read through the 3 rooms, and I went, Xanthus sounds the coolest. And I put it, I was like, that's the room they're going to fucking find, is the room with Xanthus in it.
Okay.
The Kingmaker, absolutely. That's the
Yeah.
one that, like, so then when I read that name, I instantly went, that's the one who gave Strahd his powers. And that's not what the book says at all. So I just went,
Cool.
okay, so there's Xanthus, the Kingmaker. Why wouldn't be that's the guy?
And I think that's the answer we got without asking.
Right.
Yeah, but I was curious if that was in the book or if that was Cody.
That was me.
My main
So
question.
yeah, I went, and then and again, the room has, the book describes where the coffins are in the room, which is why I was very particular. Which one of you guys is going to which one? Because it could have easily been you that talked to Xanthus or
Yeah.
Dylan. Like, and I wasn't gonna change it. I didn't design Xanthus for you.
Right.
I just put those three. Those three were in the room. I added to those three about to make them better than what the fucking book said, and then I went, okay, who sees who?
Dormir got a fucking eye on his knee and then
So-
stabbed it.
So but Dormir, if he would have kept his thing, he was able to walk and climb on walls. He would have started ignoring difficult terrain. He would have started being able to walk across water. He would have like been able to ignore obstacles in his path. Anything.
That's pretty sick.
He went, this doesn't sound as cool as some of their shit. I'm gonna get rid of it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
I was in the process of building up each one of your guys' quote unquote things to be better.
Yeah. 100%.
Because they're not, the book is kind of sucks. So
But no, that was.
And like, out of
yours was super cool, just never
Yeah.
came into play.
out of the campaign, you told me privately what it was, and like I didn't allow that to affect how I played the rest.
Yeah,
of the
because
campaign.
we never talked about it, right? We
No.
said if it would come up.
If it would come up.
What was it?
He gets
I
5
can't talk.
resurrections. If he gets killed, he comes up with 1 hit point 5 times. And then it stops working. That's what I'm saying. Insane, right?
That's fucking so sick! How am I just finding out about this?
Because he never died!
God!
He never died!
That explains so much of the recklessness.
But I did. That's
was just
how
reckless as
Althar already
that
is.
was- I know.
But yeah, I was just.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So okay, what were some of the other cool ones? Were there?
I honestly read through the names and went, those group came up first, and I went, Xanthus the Kingmaker? Fuck yeah. And then I don't think I read any of the other ones.
I don't remember the guy's name. I don't have my notes with me.
Yeah. Okay.
So there was Driscoll, the Nine Eye, and then there was
It was like
Dralawash or something.
it starts with like a B. It's
Yeah.
like
Okay.
some version of Beelzebub.
But yeah.
Yeah.
And so like some of the things too, like there was some of them like so the book says he has 5 resurrections and he loses his teeth. And I was like, that's it? He just like there's no mechanical like there's no give and take. He literally gets 5 resurrections and his character just doesn't have teeth. So that's when I was like, nah, you have disadvantage on anything charisma now. Anything that
It
you
was-
Yeah. No, that's
Anything that was talking to people.
yeah.
if
Anything
you smile. And,
When I already have negatives. to
yeah, I was
those.
like, there has to be a negative
yeah.
to getting 5, and even that wasn't a good enough negative. I was like, in the moment, I was like, that's what you get. Like,
And
yeah,
it never.
it never
mattered
came,
any.
and nothing ever mattered.
That's
Nothing
great.
really did matter.
No.
Anyway,
That's not
yeah,
true.
let's move on to the next question.
Hillseef. What were your plans? Because we
before
ruined those.
You guys, Hillseep was supposed to be like I was going to at some point design a personal either encounter or bad guy for each one of your characters. Hillseef was supposed to be the guy who burnt down your village and then eventually got taken to Barovia from Strahd, turned into a werewolf, and then was now sent him to fuck with you because he knew that he burned down your village. And I think if I had more time to flesh him out with how I added even more stuff, I would have throughout changed that a little bit. Because as you know, I added Azrael in, so then Hillseep would have been actually like a mercenary for Azrael, and I would have like added him to that story. Then his purpose was like when you guys reached like level 5 was supposed to be like a quote unquote boss fight for you to deal with. And you guys murked him in the forest. It was awesome.
And then I think you had told us, I don't know if we've said it on camera, but was Caleb had like a twin brother, and his whole thing
Yeah,
was
so
supposed to revenge
Caleb's
his twin
backstory.
brother.
Caleb's backstory is that he attacked his twin brother because his twin brother was like slightly older and was in line for the throne, and then got. So he was a high elf who kept telling everybody he was a wood elf because he got banished to the forest because he wasn't allowed in his like father's court anymore. So he was actually like this little like lording elf. Um, and then Strahd to fuck with him brought his brother in, and then you guys killed him before you could meet his brother. So yeah, I was like, well, there goes that storyline.
To
Anyway.
be fair, Caleb, hardest boss in the game.
Rahadin?
No, Caleb.
No, but I'm saying like the fight with Rahadin in
That
like,
one was really
in Barovia.
Barovia, but that more because we were under leveled at that point because Caleb stat sheet versus Rahadin stat sheet.
Yeah, so I guess that's what I made Caleb. When you guys
By the time we
Like
fought,
Caleb was
Caleb
a
and Amber
ranger
Dumper.
at our same level,
Mhm.
plus a revenue.
No, I kept him one level under you.
Oh,
To be fair. As you guys leveled up, I kept Caleb one level under you.
but he was
and then
also a
gave
revenue.
him Revenant stats
And
on
then
top.
he also had Rahadin.
So okay, what was his health point pool coming from? Was it only Revenants, or was it his class plus the Revenant?
It was Revenant, and then I was like, okay, what is his hit die? And then as he leveled up, I added health point hit dice too. I was like, he's gonna be strong. So here's the deal: Rahadin is a harder fight than Strahd, and the book says if you don't happen to kill him for any reason before Strahd, he shows up right after you kill Strahd and goes, "Oh no," and then has like a bunch of like zombies and shit.
Second level boss.
Yeah, like,
battle.
and then he, you know what I'm saying, like
Stage 2.
yeah, dude.
oh, you fucked up. I'm gonna murder you guys.
Not gonna lie, if that would have happened, we just fucking mopped the floor with them, dude. I still had so many spell slots. I had my 6th level spell
Mhm.
slot. Like,
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think the only reason we mopped the floor with Rahadin in the first place is extremely lucky rolls.
yeah.
So I wouldn't even say you mopped.
I was gonna say the same thing. I wouldn't say we beat him, but
you guys almost died, and
Caleb should have fucking died. Oh.
So I messed up. Go ahead.
What would you have done if we killed Caleb and Rahadin then? Because goddamn it, we should have.
So Caleb would have came back because he's a veteran.
Yeah.
So I told Dylan, I was like, even if you wouldn't have died, he still would have came back.
We just would have kept the book.
You just would have had the book.
Fucking okay.
You would have had the book, which would have changed some of the things that like how I would have given you information about the
Minorly.
game.
Okay.
Yeah. So Caleb would have always came back, and even if you would have killed him with anything other than your bone, he would have came back. He would have been part of the last fight, right? So that was actually clutch because then it stopped me from bringing Caleb back and doing with Caleb. So when you guys killed Rahadin, everything the book said about Rahadin, I just said that's Caleb's job now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're supposed to see Rahadin praying at the statue in the temple. And I went, well, Rahadin's fucking dead. So now you see Caleb praying. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, well, Caleb's my new Rahadin. So that's what that happened with. I have a couple of things. Do you guys have any more questions? I'm sure you do.
I do.
Okay.
But
Let's keep records. We'll do questions, and then I have a couple things I want to talk about at the end. So, what's your next question?
Cat Girl.
Crazy Cat Girl. What about her?
What?
That's a book
That
thing?
kind of goes along with one of my questions.
Okay, what's your question then?
The Don John.
The Don John.
Was that all the crazy people as
Nope.
a collective? Was it only one?
Nope. I'm glad you brought it up. I hated the cards you guys pulled in Madame Ava.
Yeah, we got shitty cards.
You did. It put all the magic items in the castle. Which is like... So, okay.
What were the options for where they could have been?
So that's really hard to say because there's a lot, right? So let's just go with the Toma Strahd, right? Flip over card 1. It could have been, any one of these places, right? So it could have been, so there's 100 different places it could be. There's 100 different treasure locations. And then you put the cards in the position, and position 1 is always the location for the Toma Strahd.
Right.
Position 2 is always the location for the castle, or for the Holy Symbol of Ravenkind. And position 3 is always the Sun Sword, right? So I put these in, and then say you guys could have pulled any one of these cards first. So then it could have been like, okay, the treasure's in the Shrine of the White Sun, which is where you guys lost, where Irina disappeared.
Oh, okay.
right?
Mm.
Or it could have been like in the bottom of Castle Ravenloft. It could have been in Casimir's, the Dusk Elf's place, right?
Oh, shit.
And that's one.
Shit could have been in like
One of them was literally
Richtenhoff's
one of them
tower,
was
like,
back in the Death House, and you had to go find it in the Death House.
Yeah.
One of them was Van Richten's tower, right?
Yeah.
And so then those are supposed to be plot hooks to get you to go to certain areas.
And it was all just in the fucking.
And it was all
castle.
just in the fucking castle.
So there's like 6 of those answers in there that are castle.
Yes,
Which
like
I guess
different-
it worked out in the sense of meeting a deadline.
it did.
Yeah.
It did. And then
Even
Strahd,
before we knew it.
the final fight with Strahd is always in the castle. It's just where in the castle, right?
So yeah, how is that?
So there's always you could
I
face.
guess in the crypts, in the throne room.
So you can face him in the chapel, in the audience hall, the character in Sergei's tomb, in his tomb, in the Hall of Bones, in his study, in the tomb of the king, in the Overlook, in his tomb again, in Sergei's tomb again, the North Tower Peak. There's one that says it has no idea where it could be. And it's up to me to pick, or Madame Ava says come back in 3 days and I will know the answer. I have to like basically like discern upon the cards more, right? And that gives me time to figure it out. Or in the tomb of the king and the queen again, right? So you guys pulled the mother. Or no, you guys pulled the raven. I said the tomb of the mother, right?
Yeah.
Look to the mother's tomb or something like that. Yeah, you guys pulled the raven.
Yeah.
Which,
So,
how fitting.
Yeah, I know. Right?
I know that was pretty fitting. So that's kind of what you picked. The John, and then there's an ally. There is one card that says the characters they get no ally. They're on their own. And then one of the allies is like the Mad Mage will come and join you in the fight in the castle.
Okay.
One of them is like let me see if I can find the allies real quick because those are a little bit simpler to read through. Yeah, let me find Strahd's enemy. So, one of them is Rictavio. Will come and join you in the fight. One of them is a werewolf that you guys never met. And basically,
Would it have just been Emil?
her name is Zulek.
Her.
Yeah, so you guys never made it to the werewolf den, and that's a whole thing. It's a whole thing that is and isn't important to the story. So it was one of those things I was like, if they don't go there, I really don't care.
If we had gone there, it would have been important to finish the storyline.
Yeah, I would have made it important, but
Yeah.
it's like chapter 13 in the book. They don't care. It might even be chapter 60. It might be the last chapter. It's literally the most least important place to go to. But you could meet. There's like a whole war going on between the werewolves. There's some that serve Strahd and some that don't. And then
Which we kind of figured out.
I put Hillseep in there, and actually, like, there's a bad werewolf that you guys could fight, who leads the bad pack, and I just kind of like erased his character and made Hillseep the leader of the bad pack, and then you guys murdered him way before you could anyway.
Yeah.
But at that point, Emil was the leader of the good side, and he had already been locked up.
Yeah.
Right. But then you guys got allies, and then one of them, there's no NPC that can inspire the characters. Yeah, if you would have gotten the Dark Lord, it just Madame Ava goes, oh, there's no help that you will find for you. You guys got Don John. And he only refers to Victor Valakovich. And I was like, Victor Valakovich is fucking lame. So who else meets the description of a dude, of somebody surrounded by wealth and madness? And the reason why he's surrounded by wealth and madness is because the leader of Valaki is the richest person other than Strahd, and his mom is fucking crazy. Like that shit broken crazy.
Okay.
Right?
Which I guess we just didn't spend enough
You guys
time.
didn't spend enough time with them.
Yeah.
But like I did my best when you first met her, where she's always like laughing, hi, and I'm like walking away. Like if you would have interacted with her more, you would have
it would have
realized
been more.
she's more spacey. Like she's
It's like,
shit crazy.
That's just a,
right?
Okay.
that's just a weird, we're not going to attack that.
But then I went, okay, who else is surrounded by wealth and madness? Literally the cat lady. She's has madness bestowed upon her, and she's the second richest person. I was like, the Mad Mage would have a lot of quote unquote knowledge and potions and books that could be considered wealth, and he's got madness. I know the book says that he has his own card. It could be the Mad Mage. Fuck it.
Cool. Okay.
Victor Valovich is lame, fucking lame. So anyway, he doesn't even have a stat block in the book. How the fuck would he help you?
Straight up.
I was like, what?
Yeah,
the-
when I smacked him, you're like, he's a commoner. He has 11 HP. I'm like,
I was like, he doesn't have a stat block. He's like, maybe a noble, so maybe 20 HP. I don't know.
Being
But he's a young
generous.
noble, so still 10. Like, I don't know. Anyway.
So I have a question
Yeah.
about post campaign, but
Okay.
I can hold it till we get there.
Do you have any more questions about current
I do.
campaign? Yeah. Current
So-
campaign stuff, and then we'll do post campaign, and then I'll do my own little wrap up speech.
maybe a brief breakdown on just the Vasanti in general.
Okay. Perfect. I love that. The Visanti are dicks. Just dicks. They are all servants of Strahd other than like Madame Ava. Right?
They're the minority
And
ones.
Madame Ava is chronically Strahd's sister.
Yes. That's a book thing. She is Strahd's sister. In fact, I hadn't done enough research about her. I found that out the same time you guys found that out.
So how is she so old? Why did we get an answer to that in game? I don't remember.
I think she's just magical. Like a magical I really don't know.
Because
So-
it's like centuries
So
old.
essentially, all of Vasanti bad except for Madame Ava's Vasanti.
So the book says nothing about Madame Ava being good or bad, other than she will help you by reading the cards, and that is it.
Okay.
She offers no other help. But it does just say that there's like different groups ish of Asanti, but not necessarily that they're bad or good or against each other. I went, what if there was a couple that were like actually kind, and then most of them were bad, but then it's like, now you're trying to figure out, is this an actual kind one, or is this one trying to fuck me? You know what I'm saying? And then I was like,
Well, they all try to fuck me.
but then that's where, again, shout out to Riches and Liches. In the old one, there are a other group of people that live in Barovia that aren't Barovians and are considered second-class citizens, and they're not the Visanti either. I can't remember their names, but in like the 4th E version, there's Barovians and then these second-class citizens that were like the conquered people of Barovia before we got shifted to the Shadowfell.
Okay.
So like when King Baroth, Strahd's father, came and conquered the land, the Barovians were the people that conquered, and then there was like the conquered people.
Yeah.
And they wear yellow sashes to indicate themselves separate from everybody else. And I went, well, what if the good Visanti wear the yellow sashes? We were already too
Okay.
far into
Yeah.
the campaign for me to add a secondary people, because you guys would
Yeah.
have, like, how did I describe why you haven't seen them yet and all that type of stuff, right? So I went, okay, but what if the good Visanti wore those yellow sashes? And that's how you were supposed to indicate the good ones from the bad ones, right?
Okay.
So it's like kind of things like I was making up as I went along.
So at Madame Ava's camp, who stole our weapons?
Fucking Caleb, 100%. It was, it was Caleb, 100%.
Of course.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I used his stealth roll against your guys' stuff.
You're-
100%.
I had a 24 passive. You beat a 24
I
passive.
think he rolled a nat 20.
I think I had a 21 at that
I
time.
think he rolled a nat 20 on his stealth.
Wow.
And he had like a plus like 11 or something to his stealth. Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah. And you were sleeping. Your passive wouldn't have worked anyway.
That's literally what the passive is for.
No, passive is for what is happening. I guess I would have... No, because passive, you still have to be awake to use your passive. It's like what you notice like around you without even trying.
I feel like that's also your ability to hear something in your sleep and wake up. But that's...
Even that, he still rolled passive. I think you would even
I
ask.
trust you that he did. I'm just like, oh my god.
I think
he
you
did.
even asked. You said, well, my passive's this. And I went, yeah, he still beats that.
Yeah.
I think...
I would have said something. So
you still would even like, well, what about my passive? I've been like, I think he beat your passive.
yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely Kale, not Buff.
Fuck, dude.
Well, I did like how you guys. I thought you guys were gonna get that right away, and then you came out like it was that dude, and I was like, oh, I love this. Yes.
It didn't cross my mind at all that it would be Caleb. How would he get there? How could he get in? Nobody in the
Why do you know we
fucking-
were there?
Yeah.
He was stalking you the entire time.
He was the undead I kept pinging. I remember now.
He was the undead you kept pinging, but couldn't quite find.
That was so long ago. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then
Yeah, then she finally were like, I ping and I roll a perception. I get I think you nat 20, and I was
I
like,
think so
yeah.
too.
You see a hooded figure with elf ears in the fucking background. You're like, and then I think you were like, Kayla. And I was like, oh.
and that was it.
It was like as we were walking into a church or something.
yeah. Nighttime, I think. You were carrying the bones to the church.
Yes.
Ah, good times.
And then fucking last question I
Yeah.
had pertaining to the campaign. Just Strahd's family tree, I guess, right?
Yeah, so again, there's his father who, like 1,000 years ago conquered the actual, like, Valley of Barovia, and his mother.
So it was like the leader of the Barovian people.
Yeah. And his father and him, there's not a lot about like if they got along or not, but he always wanted to like make his father proud. So he wanted to be a big conqueror. He wanted to be like his father was his conqueror. He wanted like almost like Alexander the Great to Philip II. Like you conquered Greece, I'm gonna fucking conquer the world.
Yeah.
Right? Like to show you that like I'm worthy of being your successor.
Yeah.
And he loved his mother. He built this whole castle for his mother, and his mother died on the way there and never saw it. And that's what started like that was like the first step into like, oh,
Is that Castle Ravenloft?
yeah, he built
Yeah,
his
yeah.
mother's name is
I
like
think
Raven-
I think he had told
Yeah.
us that.
So his mother's name is like Raylonia or something like that, and so he named it Castle Ravenloft after her. And she never got to see it. She dies, and so then he becomes, and then his father dies too. It's like his mother and father both die. And he uses like it was like built with magic, like mages built it for him. And then so then he starts to go kind of up mad.
Question about just D&D stuff. Is Ravnica related to this at all?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It never comes up in this book.
Okay. I've only ever seen that name like on books and stuff and wondered if it was connected to
It doesn't come up in this book, but again, there's a lot.
Ravenovia or whatever.
If I was ever to run this again, I would read Welcome to Ravenloft and I would read the Domains of Dread because it gives a lot more information to this. This is very much, I think,
Just
this could very much be an adventure in a campaign that lasts 4 or 5 years just dealing with the Domains of Dread. Right? This is one of the Domains of Dread.
Okay.
So there are other quote unquote Dread Lords. And Strahd is just one of them.
Okay. Do you know any of the other names?
I don't, but there's one that's like a swamp. And there's one that's like a creepy fucking circus town. And I know that if you can get past the fog on the other side of Krezk, like if you keep going west, the fog gets thicker there because that is the border of one of the Domains of Dread. And I know that.
does it talk about that in the book or
No, that's what I just known from like stuff I like learned from previous.
Okay.
Again, from that Riches and Liches channels. Please go check them out, and please Riches and Liches, check us out. Yeah. Do you have any more campaign questions?
Not campaign questions.
You said you had outside of campaign questions.
Not outside, but like post.
Okay.
We had talked about you're wanting to run another campaign in the near future and
Yes.
how it's tied in a little bit.
Yes, well, not my. So, just so for the people of the channel know, our next campaign, there's going to be one shots mixed through in and out, obviously. I want to start doing, like, even if we're in the middle of a campaign, being like, hey, we're going to take a break from the main campaign and play one shot this week. Just kind of like keep ourselves, especially after this one, which was such a, I don't want to say slog because it wasn't boring, but it was hard and gritty. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep ourselves fresh, especially. But we're going to have Zach's campaign, and then we're running out of, and then we're going to go to Auto DM. And then after that is when I want to run the campaign that connects to this one.
Yeah.
And so you'd kind of written in a couple things to tie into that. You've said, you're writing it in such a way that if we wish to continue with these characters, we can.
Yes.
Which I think we've all decided that we didn't want to.
You didn't want to, but you could. Which means your characters are NPCs now in that world.
And that was okay. So with our characters being NPCs in the world, how much do you see them growing, changing? How much do you plan?
I think that is
putting into that.
I was 100%
thing.
It was gonna be a you guys thing. I was like, okay, we're getting close to like where your character is gonna come up. What has he been doing? It's been this many years. What do you think he's? I was gonna leave that up to you guys to tell me, and then I was gonna like add my own flavor to it from there.
So, just based on conversations we've had about that before the end of this campaign, is actually part of the reason I made the decisions for Calathar that he did.
Right. So Calathar talked to the Morning Lord and said, "I just want to keep trying to eradicate evil.
Send me to the 9 layers of hell."
And he goes, "Oh, you want to find Azrael again?" And you went, "Yeah, because if you kill a devil, the only way to truly kill a devil is to kill him in the realm of the 9 hells, right? Because if you would have killed Azrael, he just shows up back down there, right? So Perfect. I love that. So then, say it's 10 years in the future, are you still battling through the nine hells, or have you killed Azrael, gotten out?
In
And
my
that's
mind, Cathar has become Doom Slayer.
Yeah.
so then there's that.
100% Doom guy.
Yeah. And then like you decided to stay and just like travel the land with Esmeralda and like search for like Strahd's like quote unquote vampire lords, right?
Well, and I don't know if it was that so much as I think I wanted him to travel to Shadowfell
Yeah.
and like just
And,
become acquainted with his god's realm.
and I think what I had said, I can't quite remember, but I think what I had said was like Esmeralda went with you and went, well, we might as well because I think that's where like Strahd's vampire lords went and hid anyway.
Yeah.
So start traveling and then seeing if you could find some of his like lords and stuff like that.
With the item,
Mm-hmm.
trying to be vague.
You can say it; it'd be fine.
With the rod, do you still plan on it? I
Being
don't
the
know.
location that you leave.
Yeah,
after.
or like, are you gonna kind of secretly go in and be like, "Oh, it's been moved. Somebody else found it," and or is it gonna be?
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Is the item quest in that campaign gonna be more like find Darren than it is gonna be find?
It's definitely so. Here's what I'm gonna say. If I think you guys are metagaming, I will change the location of the rod in the moment.
Yeah.
Right, but as of now, the rod is in the lake, where Darren has left it. No one was with Darren when he left it.
I tried to do that
Right.
in such
So
a
no
way
one has
that's
like no one knows
it's
Darren
fucking
left
lost
it.
to history.
Right. So I think then because where the rod is supposed to be placed according to the rules of the game that we're going to play, they will have to go there to find it, realize it's not there, and then there'll have to be maybe Xanthras shows up and says, "No, here's my onks," and they're gonna be like, "We don't care about that shit. We're not here for that. There was supposed to be something else here." And he goes, some other church guy took that a long time ago.
Fucking church guys.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Church
You know what I'm
guys,
saying? And
dude.
then it leads to a quest to find Darren, who's like, "Why do you want that thing? My queen told me to get rid of it." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's a whole thing for later on down the road.
But yeah, okay. I was curious if it was going to be something that was like,
and so, okay, so here's the deal.
I put it there for if you wanted it, but since you didn't want it, it's going to end up moving now or whatever.
No, yeah. And I'm not even sure the rod is supposed to be in the Amber Temple. I just went like, where's the most realistic place it would be is there.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and I put it in there way before when I thought we were going to have time to spend 3 or 4 sessions in the Amber Temple. And then I went, we don't have that much time. Fuck it. It's there.
It's in his thing.
It's
it was in a
there.
different place, just in the temple.
Yeah. One thing about the temple, there's a whole lich that you guys have to deal with. And I went, we don't have 5 sessions to deal with the lich. So
I want to fight a lich so bad.
You don't necessarily fight him. He's not crazy, but he has no like memory.
But I mean, Darren's fighting a lich.
Yeah, so like I was like, we don't have time to do. Like in the temple,
the undead thing, Darren.
That's one of those things that like I wish. Honestly, your guy surrounded by madness and wealth could have been the lich too, because he doesn't like Strahd. Him and Strahd are not friends. Right, so like it could have been. You guys could have had that I was thinking at one point before I had to start trimming down the campaign. Maybe the lich is their ally, and how does Darren and Doromir dealing with that? You know what I'm saying? So that was like a whole thing, and that's one of the things I feel like I cheapened the story a little bit. Like if I played it again, I would definitely the lich would be a bigger deal because liches are fucking cool. So but like I had to start trimming things down to make the birth of my baby.
What do you think was the biggest thing you cut out?
A lot of Castle Ravenloft. There's like you guys saw 3 floors and there's it's like a 5 or 6 story building. I cut out a lot of that. I cut out the entirety of Amberish's Tower, which again is like one of like the lesser important parts of the story, but it's pretty fucking cool.
It's pretty iconic too.
Yeah.
Like that's a name that I've heard 100 times.
Yeah, Banrich and yeah. So I feel really pretty upset that I cut that out. And then the lich.
I don't know if I'd say you cut that out as much as
I could have given you more reasons to go there. And then when I realized I hadn't done enough work to push you there, I just kind of like, Esmeralda's going to go there then for you, right? Like I just, yeah. And then the Lich was a big one because that's a pretty big creature not to.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever actually fought a Lich.
Yeah.
Fought a Draco Lich.
You will. You will.
Matter of fact, I think you fought
Hint,
a few
hint,
Draco
hint,
Liches.
hint.
Yes, we have fought a few Draco Liches. Hint, hint, they will fight the Lich. Okay. Any more questions about pre, post, during my thought process?
I guess Baba Lysaga.
Yeah.
So we're continuing this world. She got banished to Faerun. Are you gonna take time to think about this? But
yeah, I'm gonna take time to think about it.
Is she gonna actually
She
show
has
up
to
and be a thing there?
Absolutely.
So if we're
In my head, she pops up in a random farmer's house, and he goes, "What?" And because
because
Shadowfell is a mirrored version, so she just or a mirrored reality. So she just boop pops up fucking in this farmer dude's house, and he's like, "What the fuck?" And then she just starts going off on her shit. I don't know, maybe. It all depends on how that campaign goes, because you might not ever deal with anything.
Well,
like that.
it'd be fun if because we're starting as high level adventures. If our adventures
was
started as killing Baba Lysaga.
Actually, that would be now. It's actually going to be a little note for the DM here, and this all depends on if I just don't stop DMing.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? We might just want Zach to DM everything.
We can do a rotating carousel.
So
Dylan's up next.
Let's do it.
We'll see. Any more questions for me?
No, I mean, I guess the only thing I really had wasn't really campaign related at all. It was, how was running your first official campaign?
It was stressful in ways that you won't know until you run a long-term campaign, and it was fulfilling in ways you won't know until you run a long-term campaign. I am glad to be a player again in yours, but I'm already itching to run my next one. I made a lot of mistakes. A lot. Some that I think are obvious to you guys, and as friends, you just let them go. Some where I messed up, like obvious mistakes, I messed up how that attack works, or I messed up the ruling on that, or I messed up stat blocks. But just how I wrote out the story and progressed the story, I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
I retconned a lot of things out loud and in the moment, and I rearranged things a lot, and I forgot a lot of things in the book. So there's I can't remember off the top of my tongue, but there are things that you guys should have came across earlier, and I went, I totally forgot that existed, and then moved it way down here, and then they didn't have the same effect because it was supposed to be a catalyst for something, and I put it at the end of that thing, and it just didn't have the same effect. And I was and then I had to put some shoehorn things in to get you guys to do things because I forgot. It was fuck, I got to get them to go there or do that, right? So I made a lot of mistakes, so I'll live and learn on that. Balancing things, 5e is notoriously hard to balance encounters. I either TPK'd you or you mollywopped my guys, right? I was having a hard time.
Every once in a while, we had a nice fair fight.
I know in the final fight, you kind of feel like you pulled some punches, and
yeah,
you might have with some of the numbers of enemies, but as far as the tactics, I feel like you maybe pulled punches for one turn with your actual tactics that you used. And
but you didn't pull punches on how much health he had.
Yeah.
No. I actually
you only buffed him.
Yeah, I buffed him a lot. And then Dylan did 170 points of damage in a turn.
That was the wildest shit I've
ever seen. Honestly, it was that turn, and then you did 150 points right after that.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't those two turns, not rounds, turns within one round, that fight still goes different.
Yeah.
Right? But then Dylan walks up and is I'm going to nat 20 and then throw a second level smite on that. And I was oh, I was
Sun Sword.
With the Sun Sword.
And then smite on my other attack.
Yeah, and then hit my other attack and smite on that. And then Calthar's going to come up and do crazy damage.
I'm also sure Dylan has great weapon fighting as his fighting style, and he never rerolled 1s and 2s on his damage ever.
Yeah.
So he could have done so much more.
Yeah. So in that last fight, here's how I had pictured it in my head. I had known what you wanted. We had talked about it off screen. I would say this to players and DMs. if you have a plan, talk to your DM about it. They're not there to fuck with you. They're there to see if your plan can work and to make it give you the best chance realistically for your plan to work. So you came up to me off camera, like behind the scenes, whatever you want to say, and said, would I want to do Legend Lore to figure out where Strahd's resting place is, and I want to exactly, and I want to do the Hallowed spell on that to keep him from going back to his resting place. And I went, okay.
I was basically like, is this a viable option?
And I said, yes, it is. I don't know how yet, but that's awesome. Let's work it in. You didn't need to use Legend Lore because you had gotten that information, I think, from Argynvost or something like that, right? But the Hollow spell. And then I even gave you, I had worked it out and I was like, well, that wouldn't technically kill Strahd. It would just keep him away for longer. So I worked out a way for you to find out that information within the game too, right? So I was like, you're like, okay, I need to get to his, you guys are like, I need to get to his
resting place.
resting place. He's not going to be there. He's probably going to be in his throne room leading his army. So then we need to go kill him in his throne room and then get back to his resting place. And I think it was always going to be that way. I think it was always you guys fight him in his throne room and then go do the last fight in the resting place.
Yeah.
But then the Hollow spell gets rid of that last fight. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. So then all that means I got to make that fight in the throne room fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, and you know what? What I really should do is if they're going to go to the resting place to put the Hollow spell, let's have a little fight there first. Let's bring down some of their resources and some of their health a little bit before they go to the final fight with Strahd, right?
Yeah.
And who fucked him up the last time? Lavender Boy and the Mage, right? I was like, so there's Lavender Boy, there's the Mage, and for some fun, let's throw in some Shadows and a Wraith and a Spectre. That are just like, because I was like, what would you find in a crypt? You find some Ghost, some Specters, you'd probably find a Wraith feeding on some dead bodies, right?
100%.
What would you find in the crypts of a vampire lord, right? Undead monsters. Just a
Couple zombies.
Yeah, right, like just a shit ton of them. So I had this whole fight, like a couple round fight planned out, and you guys were splitting the party, and I looked down at the list of options, and I
distraction to deep extraction.
and I said out loud, I'm not pulling punches. And as I was saying it, I was like erasing things. I was like, yeah, there's no fucking way. I was like, there's no way a cleric and an NPC.
And a 7th level NPC wizard.
Yeah, I was like, no, she's not even a wizard. She just has a couple of spell slots.
Okay.
But she's more of like a pokey person.
Okay.
But I was like, there's no way that they win this. Like, Lavender Boy,
by himself,
here's the deal.
is a challenge.
Yes. His first round, he has the stat block of a Death Knight. His first 2 rounds, he gets Death Knight stuff. Then after that, he goes to just a normal knight, but he keeps the AC and the health points of the Death Knight. But he loses like the spells that the Death Knight have, the crazy abilities. But it's like I mixed and matched when I created Lavender Bro. I was like, so for 2 rounds, he's boom, boom, and then he like drops back down, right? Like, and then it progressively gets easier to fight, right? And I'd already like decided like he doesn't necessarily want to fight you. Anyway, it was like a whole thing, and I thought Calathar was going to be there because they had a thing. And I was like, Calathar's going to be able
to... LB.
Yeah, I was like Calathar might actually convince him to be able to join your guys' side. It was like this whole thing. Anyway, and then in Strahd's fight, he has all these lair actions, all these legendary actions, these legendary resistances. And then I had like, when I designed it, there's this thing called the Heart of Sorrow that's somewhere in Strahd's castle that you guys are supposed to find. And it has
200 HP on it.
I made that up.
I think you said it was like 50.
It's like 50, but you guys do so much damage per turns. I was like, they're gonna eat through that, right? So I made it like 200, right? And I was like,
at 50, it would have just been meaningless. We would have never went looking for it.
Right.
It would've...
And then I was like, and you know what though? I don't want them to like realize he's not taking damage, and then because again we had to end the campaign that week. We couldn't play the next week, right? Yeah. So I was like, okay. He's gonna move it and protect it in the throne room because he doesn't want the chance of them finding it and breaking it and him not knowing, right? So he's gonna protect it in the throne room, and he's gonna close off that secret door. 2 for 1. Boom! He moves the stone in front of the secret door, right? Now they have to go through the castle, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
1 fucking round.
Well, you guys, he saw it and went, yeah, I don't know what that glowy rock is, but I'm gonna fucking smack the shit out of it.
Yeah, it's
and
like
went
30
straight toward
straight
it.
then.
And then it's just like dealing with that, but then it was like, okay. And when I had designed it, I was like, okay, there's also going to be 2 animated suits of armors. There's going to be 6 flaming skulls, and then there's going to be another wraith and a couple of his zombies. And then the book says basically every turn you roll a die and see what type of minion comes to his aid. Is it Strahd zombies? Is it wraiths? Is it specters? Is it just vampire spawn? Right? Like it's just like what's going to come to his aid on this round. So every round he gets another creature. Actually, you roll a dice to see what creature it is, and then you roll a dice to see how many of those creatures it is. Right? So like every round progressively gets harder and harder. Here's what happened. You guys split the fucking party, and I was like, who knows how many fucking rounds it's going to take them to get back.
Yeah.
So I took away the adding creatures every round. I was like, I'm not going to do
it. All makes sense knowing that you had planned it for us to all 4 go up top, then all 4 go down bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Or go bottom and then
Or,
top,
yeah.
and then
Right.
back bottom.
Right. Because then by the time you get to back bottom, it would have been over. There would have been no other fight. It would have
Yeah.
been like me wrapping up the campaign. So it's like, okay, there is no more coming in creatures every round until the whole party gets here. The first round you all got there is when they beat the shit out of him and he died.
Yeah.
I had no chance.
I literally made it up top, opened the door, and then I went, oh, fuck.
Right. So, like, when you showed up, the fight was over. That's when the fight ended. I had no chance to start adding those creatures in,
Yeah.
right? And then I went also 2 animated suits of armors and 6 flame skulls that can throw 6 fireballs. That's for 2 people. Let's pull that back. 4, 1. Let's pull a little bit of my punches. And then I just never caught myself back up. And so I feel like the last fight went way too easy because I was like, I gotta pull punches so they don't die. And I could have just killed you. But I'm like, okay. But I'm also a sucker for narrative storytelling, right? So I was like, why would they just die now though? Like, if they're gonna die, have them die fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to die in the crypt by yourself. I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
I understand.
So like, pull a little bit of punches, do my best to make it hard, but then, when they get back together, really
Still had to fight Azrael.
right.
I thought it was gonna be really fucking hard, and I'm like, look, Zach knows that Calthor's not gonna die, but
And then like you got charmed. That was fun. That lasted a couple rounds. That was cool. But like so like I pulled my punches back and then never. To me, I feel like I stopped throwing punches and played defense, and then by the time it was the second round and I said, okay, it's my turn to start throwing back, I got caught by a fucking uppercut and got dropped.
Also, I
Right?
was supposed to be doing massive damage to Dylan, and I just missed every attack.
did. Yeah, he
I had
you
haste going, and
he
I
took
missed
like 9
every
attacks against Dylan and missed everyone, and that could have been a game changer too. He could have killed Dylan.
Yeah.
attack. Again,
That would have been awesome. So then, and then there was also we weren't supposed to have time constraints on that session. We had said we are going to play until the campaign is over, no matter what time it is.
Yeah.
And then we had time constraints put on us, and I had to end by a certain time. So it's like, do I even? When I started noticing that the fight was going against me, I'm like, I could start adding more things now, but then that's just more things that they have to get through. And then by the time we had finished all of that, the time constraints were coming up closer when the campaign had to be over. So then I took Azrael, which was supposed to be a pit fiend, and I had like my original stat block for Azrael was like, okay, they can still, even after the fight with Strahd, you guys maybe could beat him, maybe not. It would have been a really hard fight. And I was like, we don't have time for this. So then I found a Spine Devil, slashed his AC, slashed his HP, threw him in front of you and said, just fucking get rid of this guy. So then I kind of feel like I not only did I cheapen the fight with the big bad of the book, I cheapened the fight with like the other big bad driving half the characters of some of the things that they were doing. And I spent a lot of time building up Azrael and his connection to you and his to his. At first, it was just this devil, and then it was like this devil that has a connection to you, and then all of a sudden he has a connection to Donnie, and then all of a sudden he has a connection to all of you guys, and then I just kind of like cheapened him anyway. But anyway, that's kind of like where I feel like I messed up on the campaign, is I didn't give the ending the time that it deserved, and I just hope that the next campaign we do, no matter how many
Azrael will have a comeback.
yeah, he needs one. But anyway, any more questions?
I think I'm good. I just want
What
to
a
say
great
that
campaign.
yeah, it was a great campaign too. And
Well, I really appreciate it.
I can understand the feeling on the last one, but at the same time,
It felt
regardless of
organic.
time constraints, it was fucking like 4 o'clock in the morning. So like, we were all running on fumes, man.
Yeah.
As much as my heart was there and wanted to do it, like
Yeah.
my body was starting to fail too.
Yeah. No, I think it was the best out of what we had.
Yeah. In an ideal world, we would have played another 2 months and
Probably 5 or 6 more
filled
sessions.
in a lot of the gaps there. But it was awesome, dude. It was
Well,
great.
I really appreciate it.
And then he still would have killed us at the end.
Facts.
Legit. We would have just TPK'd in the Amber Temple in that situation.
Anybody or everybody, this has been another episode of Curse 20. Go catch the very last episode, The Curse of Strahd, on the Curse One's actual play here on Curse 20's YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe. Hit the bell for updates on when videos come out. And thank you.
Caw.
Caw.